Hi, welcome to Travel with Austin. I'm Austin. Today I'm going to be at Fort Boreman Historical Park in Parkersburg, West Virginia. So this is actually a site of an old Civil War fort in Parkersburg, West Virginia. We are actually a little bit away from the actual town, but not that far. As you can probably hear in the background, there is a train. And I'm kind of doing this park in reverse because even though this is the entrance, you actually park at the end of the park. So first we're gonna come up to this cabin. Now I actually don't know much about this cabin as I haven't seen it on any of the historical boards here. It seems like it is used for something since there is a master lock on the door. And I don't think it is original. So we're just gonna walk by that real quick. So that is the cabin. So now if we walk up this hill, we're gonna get to the remains of the old fort. So I'm actually gonna go up there right now. So now I'm at the top of the hill. There's not really much that remains of this, and a lot of it isn't original. We have these that I wanna call barricades. Obviously they are pretty new by the look at them. We do have an old cannon up here. It's pointed right down at my car. I also believe this is not an original cannon from the time period, or at least wasn't originally here. On one of the plaques, it does say that there was a cabin in a cannon on this hill at one point, and it was actually moved into a park in Parkersburg, which is right over there, and I'll get to that in a minute. Over here, we have an old foundation. Now, according to this plaque over here, there were many small cabins along this hillside. And of course, over time, they were lost, torn down. But in 2005, they did a geophysical survey, and they found the locations that they believe are two corners of a foundation. And I believe that is what this is. They just put in foundation stones to mark where it was. This either would have been the winter quarters or the powder room. Over here we have a wooden ground, and this actually looks very old, very worn down, so it may be part of the original fort. I'm not sure. This fort did have trenches, which I believe are these small hills that we can see. And then over here is one of the 3 overlooks in the park. I will only be showing you 2. The other one is down there. You can't really see it, but it doesn't offer as good of a view as up here. So this is Parkersburg. Now, some things to know about the history of this fort is it opened in the early 1860s. I believe it's 1863. And then after it closed, it was turned into a park. And I know that it's a park today, but it was turned into a park with recreation zones, a dance hall, and bowling lanes apparently, where it stayed open like that until the 1940s. So now I'm walking down the hill, and you can hear a train in the background, or I believe that's a train anyway. So something else I think is very interesting about this park is that there are all these stairs that go up to the hill, but the first little bit of the park is a ramp. So it almost seems like it would be a wheelchair accessible place, but then it's not because they decided to put in stairs instead. I'm not sure the reasoning behind this. And as you walk down the ramps, there are all these different historical placards that will tell you everything you need to know about the park. And of course there are benches along the way. And as we turn the corner here, you're gonna see a kind of wooden path that is down here. This is actually the other path to the overlook. It's half wood and then it goes into kind of a dirt path. And I'm actually just gonna take us a little bit on it because there were people here earlier, just to show you kind of what the view would be like. Oh, so there are no people, so we're just gonna walk straight to the overlook. So I actually like this wooden part. It's very nice. Oh, there's people coming. Although we won't see it, some of the wood has little cutouts that are shaped like West Virginia. So if we look over here, we can see Parkersburg. That brown building that you can see kind of in the middle of the shot is the Blennerhassett Island Museum. And next to it is a bunch of parking areas. So basically this overlook kind of just has a view of the city. To me, it's not as good as the one on the top of the hill. And the plaques there just kind of talk about the floods in the town and the history of the town. So as we walk back here and we get to like the bottom end of the park, there's a few things to notice. So one over here, this building is actually bathrooms. However, on the top of it, as you may or may not be able to see, there is kind of like a satellite dish and there's a few cameras. There are actually cameras all over this park, which I guess I understand because it is a historic park, but I also find it kind of weird. Down here we have some flagpoles and a cannon. When you first come in, you actually get a welcome and you can get a general history, and then you can get a map. So there are actually trails apparently on the other side that I've never been in. And then we have the trails up there. We have the top of the hill overlook, the Parkersburg overlook, and then we're actually gonna walk over to the Ohio River overlook. This is actually my favorite in the park. So there are also shelter houses, so you can have events here. And there is a small playground back there. So as we're walking to this overlook, you can probably still hear a train. And over here we do have a bridge from Parkersburg to, I believe that's Belpre, Ohio. And then we can see more of Parkersburg out through here. There's some more stuff. This was a Union fort, which is something I don't think I've said yet. And it was meant to protect the railroad, the river, and a few other things that were like key to the Union. Down there by the riverfront, we have Point Park. As far as I know, I've only been down there one time. It is just that little stand. There is usually grass growing there. I believe it flooded recently. Last time I went there, it was covered in mud. We can see the highway down here. We can see Parkersburg. We can see a train bridge. Then we have a plaque about the Ohio River. And you can actually see the Ohio River. You can see some of the bridges. Across the land is Belpre. That is the second oldest permanent settlement in the Northwest Territory, as you can see from this plaque. The first is actually Marietta, Ohio. And then down this way a bit, you can kind of make out an island down there. It may be a bit hard from this angle. That is actually Blennerhassett Island. There's actually a plaque about it too, even though because of the trees in the way, you can't really see the island from here. So this island is in the middle of the river. It's actually owned by West Virginia. I've been there once. You actually get on an old ferry over near Point Park, and it will take you down the river. And the island has a mansion you can tour. You can have horse rides. There's some ruins on the island, and there's, I believe it's called the Putman House that you can tour. So I hope one day I can make a video there, but it's about 25 bucks to go there and do everything on the island. And I believe they're actually closing for the season soon. So my phone cut me off, but this is Fort Boreman Park. It is in Parkersburg, West Virginia, kind of just outside of it. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe for more.